Hi there, and welcome to Naturally Recovering Autism. I am your host, Karen Thomas, and I want to thank you so much for being here today and being a proactive parent and getting the resources that you need to help your child reach their best quality of life. Because the recovery process is about gaining better health that allows their brain to function better and to allow them better sleep, ability to focus in a classroom, better speech, calmer moods that they can control because they can, and be happier and healthier. We want the best quality of life possible for our kids. I was once told that my son would not recover from his symptoms of autism and that we should drug him and try behavioral therapies. But my background in holistic health and as a craniosacral therapist studying the brain for now 30 years let me know that the brain can and does heal. It's a scientific fact. But I didn't know that much about autism 14 years ago when my son was diagnosed, so I needed to start researching on my own. And I spent now over a decade, 14 years, but it took me about a decade to really figure it out and implement everything that I was learning through trial and error and a lot of spent time and expense. But it was worth it because today my son is no longer with his symptoms of autism. He has just graduated college. He's healthy, he's happy, and I'm here to share with you things that you can do to help your child be as healthy and happy as they can possibly be. And one of the things that I want to talk about today is what's happening and what to do when your child suddenly has extreme behaviors on the detoxification and recovery process. And there are two things that we're going to talk about, and I'll talk about them deeper today. It's called KPU, or cryptopyuria, and PANS, pediatric autoimmune neuropsychiatric syndrome. These are things that we have to troubleshoot along the way because I see it over and over in my mentoring program with parents where the detoxification process starts, even just from beginning the diet changes, detoxification will start. And if there aren't enough binders in place and detoxification pathways and liver are backed up like they usually are in kids with autism, then that detoxification can cause, more toxins and inflammation on the brain for a short period of time. And when that happens, it can trigger these two issues. So I want to offer you some guidance on these because again, when we start healing things up, is what we're doing, but basically the detoxification, the toxins and inflammation just expand and it can trigger these two symptoms. So I'm going to be talking about troubleshooting during detoxification with this. And it's something that took me years to find out when my son was on my own son's recovery journey. I've learned a lot. And had I known about it, I would have saved me a lot of time and expense and reduced the stress and even panic that both my son and I lived in for so long. And PANS, as we'll talk about in a minute, is the autoimmune system. The immune system is attacking the brain. Of course, it is as dangerous as it sounds, and you don't want to have that be happening for very long because it can be very detrimental. And not knowing what to do is the worst. That helpless feeling of knowing something needs to be done for your child, but not knowing what to do. And the doctor says that maybe they can see you in a week or a month, and you need answers right now. And you're completely stressed out and sometimes panicking and the worry and, losing sleep yourself. So detoxification, even the initial phase when you're changing the diet, again, like I said, can cause a backlog of those toxins in your child's body. And since the kids with autism have poor detoxification pathways already, because they all do, it's part of what the problem is that we work with. So we need to support that, or they can get very heightened symptoms. And I'm talking about there's a difference between when you're on detoxification and you get heightened symptoms like, okay, they might get a skin rash or they might get, some of the die-off symptoms that are like a little flu-like, or they can get headaches or a little bit more behavioral. That's sort of regular die-off detoxification symptoms. Then there's a difference with extreme. So that's what we're going to be talking about today, troubleshooting these extreme symptoms. Now, when they get extreme, there are a couple of common significant issues that come up, and they need to be dealt with quickly. And the symptoms you're looking for are a sudden onset or worsening of OCD, or obsessive compulsive disorder. They have heightened anxiety, sleep problems, hyperfocus, clinginess, really fearful behaviors, just a lot of fearfulness. And so there are two things that come up. The first one, which is the most common, and you'll see pretty much all of those symptoms, is from PANS. Now, PANS, again, is an acronym for Pediatric Autoimmune Neuropsychiatric Syndrome. And when you hear the term PANDAS, that means then that's PANS, but associated with streptococcal infections. They're very, very common in children with autism. And I'm going to link on the show notes page to some on the blog post on naturallyrecoveringautism.com. You'll find the page that has links to learn more in-depth information about that. Especially, I've done an interview with Dr. Madeline Cunningham, who is a PANS specialist, and she's just fabulous and just completely amazing as far as her education and knowledge on this. So you can listen to that episode for really in depth, but I wanted you to just know what to look for and what's going on. So in a nutshell, those are the symptoms, and that the immune system's attacking the brain and you're looking for those heightened symptoms. The other one is KPU, or cryptopyluria. Now, porphyria, yes, that's the word, is a buildup of toxins in the blood, and it's due to a heme or blood pathway dysregulation. Now, they're iron-containing heme, which allow the hemoglobin oxygen in the blood it gets triggered by many things, including, you might notice, people who have trouble fasting. Of course, if there's a genetic component, nutrient imbalance, which again, might trigger you for your child's issue there, rapid detoxification, candida, Lyme viruses, mold, heavy metals, glyphosate. These are all toxic insults that can trigger the KPU. Now, the cryptopyrrolus porphyrins, I know it's a long word, that's why we say KPU. They are also, that's why we refer to them as that. But there is, if you notice, one of the symptoms that's very interesting is that in sunlight, your child's skin might erupt with more than a rash. They're almost like blisters, and it's painful. And it's really, really exacerbated by UV light. So if they get out in the sunlight and it burns and it almost blisters, that's KPU. And it can also trigger some other things like mast cell activation and things in the immune system. So detoxifying for people with KPU must be done very, very slowly. And I cannot emphasize this enough. My members know one of the first things I say in my mentoring program is, this is a slow and steady process, one thing at a time. I say that over and over and over. Parents get eager, and I understand that. You want to see your child get changes today. I can't even believe it sometimes when parents will tell me they were at some doctor's office and they came home with a handful of supplements to give their child one day. Now, what are those? What kind of reactions might a child have to each individual one? You won't know, because if you're taking a bunch of new things all at once, then there's no way to decipher it. And you have to back off of all of them and start all over again. So the whole thing is to do this as a one thing at a time, slow process. Even again, as I mentioned, the diet changes alone can cause these issues. There are some things that you can do for, like, initially, especially with either PANS or KPU, just something to right away do to help your child's system calm down and calm the brain down is CBD is very, very helpful. And I can link to it on the show notes, a couple of good products, or one that I think is really good. A good CBD product that helps to calm the immune system down. It also helps calm the system down in general for the sensory overload, because you want to calm them down. If it's KPU, then if you're noticing this more, the blistery thing on the arms, etc., then you can do a 24-hour urine test. I'm going to link to that specific test that you need. Now, you're going to need a practitioner to get you to order the test for you, but any practitioner can do it. I believe even a chiropractor can do it, naturopaths, anybody that is from LabCorp is one of the particular ones, but it's for specifically porphyrins. It's not just a urine test, it's the porphyrin random test. I've given the CPT code for it. And in that 24-hour process that you're taking the urine samples, because we just dispel things at different times of the day. So if you just take a test once in a day, it doesn't give you the right results. It's a 24-hour urine test, and you keep that urine refrigerated while you're doing the test, and get it refrigerated to the lab and have the lab send it off refrigerated. They should know that. Anyway, I'm going to link to that in the show notes for you because that's a way to test for KPU. But one of the things you can give your child for KPU also, besides some CBD initially to calm them down, because they'll be extreme, and it's very uncomfortable for them and you as the parent to deal with it. And so if that's it too, then you can also utilize a little bit. Now, normally we stay away from sugars when we're on the candida diet, but if this is the case for your child, they might be so sensitive to their glucose intolerance and imbalance with KPU that you can give them. Some people say actually give them even direct, straight little, like a teaspoon of glucose. But I always say try with a little piece of fruit first to get a little bit of sugar in their body, because the sugar will help to balance it out a little bit. And there are some heme foods that are, of course, that are high in iron, like a grass-fed beef, or organic chicken livers, things like that, are also helpful to give these kids if they're in these episodes, and if they're sensitive to this in the first place. So this is something that I wanted to make sure you knew about. Again, PANS and all of these can be triggered by mold biotoxins as well. So you really want to make sure your home is mold free. There's a genetic issue, if you're not familiar, that 29% of the world population have, that does not allow the body to dispel toxins when it's exposed to mold. And these toxins can cause damage to the gut, which is the reason why so many kids don't get better after you're on a good diet, and why they can't think clearly and focus and learn properly. And of course, our kids are brilliant, so we need to be able to clear their system of these health issues so that they can get into natural recovery again to regain their health. So you can test your home for mold. There's something called an ERMI test, and I can link to that also in the show notes. An ERMI test from a company called Mycometrics, which is very important because not all tests are the same. And there's a lot to this, as you can tell. And I'd love to help you through this. And I am a mentor to autism moms and dads as well. But except I always say 99% of who I work with are the moms. The dads are really great too. My goal is to help you move forward in the autism recovery journey with a step-by-step roadmap to follow, and support you so that you can save yourself the time, the financial expense of not knowing what to do, and also help you troubleshoot and give you a guide to how to handle these PANS and KPU issues when they come up. In my program, we use proprietary herbal formulas that were developed specifically for many of the co-infections. So those are available, but I can only give them to you inside the program with my guidance, because outside people are jumping around. They don't know, there are too many variants, and I'm actually not allowed to offer any of that outside the program. So very important. And my program is not always open for enrollment. It happens to be open right now for just a few more hours. Actually, if you're listening to us live, please, or listening to this when it comes out, please go to naturallyrecoveringautism.com/masterclass, and that will take you to the link for the masterclass that I did, and also give you the link to the enrollment page so that you can learn more about it. And if it's something you'd like my guidance walking you through, I would love to help you because I know how important it is to have support on the journey, to be part of a community of like-minded people. I have lived and walked this path myself and had success with it. I have many testimonials for you to read from parents I've helped all over the world in over 40 countries now. And I know how important it is to get that support. And I don't want to see you in months from now, still doing the same thing and wishing you had support or knew what to do, because knowledge like this is valuable. I mean, I don't know if you knew about KPU or pans or what to do for it if it did erupt during detoxification. And if you didn't know about it, then I'm glad that you do now, because then you have that knowledge to know when that happens, that's happening for your child, and now you have a couple of things you know to do for it. But knowledge also isn't as useful if you don't know what to do with it. If you need you without a roadmap and a path to follow with it, then and the steps to guide you, then it can be a lot of wasted knowledge, and that's nobody wants to waste any knowledge. You do the work, I just guide you. It's one step at a time, like I said, slow and steady. I know parents get eager, they want to rush it. That's not what this is about. You've had enough overwhelm, and it's time to end that. And it's time to get real results with your child. And that's what I want to help you do, to get them, again, the best quality of life as possible. No kids on the autism spectrum or no kids anywhere are the same. So troubleshooting is very important. And again, I'd love to guide you through this process. If you're interested in that, again, my enrollment is just open for a couple more days, actually a few more hours probably by the time you're listening to this. So don't delay. Go to naturallyrecoveringautism.com/masterclass and check out what, everything that I offer you there, and get more information. Please share this with anybody you know who might be interested, because it's helping parents all over the world and giving great relief. Again, read the testimonials. They're there to help show you what possibilities are out there for your child. And if you're looking for a better quality of life for your child, and you feel that their health and their behaviors could improve, and they could be happier and healthier and have a more fulfilling life than the one they have now, then please don't delay. I hope this has been helpful. I appreciate you being here, honestly, and being a proactive parent and getting these resources so that you can help your child, and again, give them the best life possible that they absolutely deserve. And so do you. You deserve to have the support on this journey as well. And following these guidelines for yourself are important, because it's very common that we have a lot of the same issues that our kids do. Theirs might manifest as autism, and ours just may manifest as anxiety issues or sleep problems or depression or other health and digestive issues. But it's important to know that you can follow the same detoxification and the same health and healing process and get yourself better along the journey too. So I hope this has been helpful, and I look forward to seeing you soon.